I'm 80 years old, and I'm running out of places to put the things I didn't do. I don't mean trophies or photographs. I mean the moments I kept postponing, the conversations I said I'd get to later. I'm not telling this because I need to be understood. I'm telling it because time has made it very clear that understanding comes too late if you wait for it to feel convenient. Most mornings now are quiet. Too quiet, sometimes. The house knows I'm awake before anyone else does. It creaks and settles like an old body. I sit at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee I don't really want anymore. Watching light move across the wall, I've started thinking in years instead of days. How many are behind me? How few are left in front? When you're young, not now, feels harmless, responsible, even, like you're being careful with your life. I said it the first time in my 20s. I remember exactly where I was, standing in a doorway, jacket half on, someone asking me to stay a little longer. I had work in the morning, I was tired, I said, "Not now, we'll do it another time." And that felt reasonable, it usually does. In my 30s, life filled up fast, job bills, plans that stacked on top of each other like papers on a desk. I was proud of being dependable, proud of being busy, proud of being the person who showed up early and stayed late. When friends called, I'd glance at the clock before answering. When my parents wanted to talk, I'd promise to call back when things slowed down. When my wife wanted a weekend with no agenda, I'd say, "After this next project." I meant it every time. I didn't think I was choosing work over people. I thought I was choosing stability. I thought I was building something that would eventually give us more time, not less. The years didn't move like years back then. They moved like weeks. You blink, and another one was gone. The damage didn't arrive all at once. It crept in quietly. I missed a birthday dinner because a meeting ran late. I skipped a school play because I was exhausted. I postponed a trip because the timing wasn't right. Nothing dramatic, nothing that felt unforgivable. Just small delays, small absences. Conversations started getting shorter. Invitations came with less enthusiasm. People stopped checking if I was free and just assumed I wasn't. I didn't notice at first. I was busy being useful. My parents aged faster than I expected. Everyone tells you that, but it still surprises you when it happens. One year they're capable, the next they're tired, and then suddenly you're noticing how often they sit down. My mother once asked if I could come by on a weekday afternoon. I told her weekends were better. She said, "Okay," in a way that sounded smaller than usual. She died before that weekend ever came. There wasn't a big realization in that moment, just a dull ache and a lot of paperwork. Grief mixed with logistics. That's how loss really shows up, quiet and inconvenient. My marriage didn't end in shouting or betrayal. It thinned out, like fabric worn too often. We still lived in the same house, still shared meals, still talked about practical things, but the pauses between sentences grew longer. The laughter came less often. One night she said, "You're always almost here." I didn't know how to respond to that. By the time I understood what she meant, we were already living separate lives under the same roof. Eventually, she moved out. There wasn't even a fight about it, just a tired agreement that something had been missing for a long time. I kept telling myself there would be time to fix things. After retirement, after things slowed down, they never slowed down, they just ended. The turning point didn't feel like a lesson. It felt like a closed door. I was in my late 60s when I got sick for the first time in a way that scared me. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to put me in a hospital bed, staring at ceiling tiles, listening to machines breathe for me. People visited, fewer than I expected. I remember lying there, thinking about all the times I'd said, "Not now." All the times I'd assumed availability was permanent. You don't get a warning that the last time is the last time. You don't get a receipt for missed chances. When I was discharged, the world looked the same. But I wasn't. There are things that can't be fixed now. Friendships that went cold and stayed that way. A marriage that exists only in memory. Parents whose voices I can still hear but can't answer anymore. I can't go back and sit at table longer. I can't take that walk. I can't say the things I assumed could wait. What's left is quieter, shorter days. A calendar that doesn't fill up unless I make an effort. Sometimes people ask if I regret my career. I don't know how to answer that. I'm proud of the work I did. I just wish I hadn't used it as a reason to delay living. Success doesn't argue with you. It doesn't tell you when it's costing too much. It lets you believe you're doing the right thing right up until the moment it's too late to rebalance. If you're listening to this and you still have time, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I wouldn't trust anyone who speaks that confidently. I can only tell you what I didn't understand soon enough. Not now. Feels safe. It feels responsible. It feels temporary. Most of the time it isn't. People don't wait the way you think they will. Moments don't stay available just because you intend to return to them. If something matters to you, it usually matters now. Not perfectly, not conveniently, just now. I don't say that with urgency or drama. I say it with the calm of someone who has already spent the time. I'm not bitter. I'm grateful for what I had. But gratitude doesn't erase absence, and acceptance doesn't bring things back. My days are simpler now. I watch birds from the window. I reread old letters. I think about the sound of voices that aren't around anymore. This is not a warning. It's a confession. If this meant something to you, hold on to it in whatever way feels right. You don't owe me anything. I'm 80 years old. I've learned that later is a fragile promise. And tonight, like most nights, I'll sit in this quiet house and remind myself that I did the best I knew how, even if knowing came too late.